We are about to get started on our second seated poses. You may want to have a blanket, blocks, and strap. You can always retrieve these later if you change your mind. We'll also be trying crow, which is another arm balancing pose. So if you feel like, maybe I want to try it, but I'm afraid of falling on my face, then you might want to grab a pillow or two or another blanket to put in front of you, especially if you have a hard floor like I do. So as we talked about before with Tadasana, simply just starting to ground ourselves, just maybe shifting the weight front to back. And part of this is just an exercise in drawing our attention somewhere else and bringing it back down towards the mat. So it's not so much that everyone will really have to focus on what my little pinky toe is doing, but it's a meditative process if we do that. So that's what we're going to do. So starting in your Tadasana position, go ahead and lift the toes, spread them if you can, and maybe you see a little bit of mat or your rug or carpet, in between the toes. Some people have more, prehensile monkey toes than others. And just grounding down, lifting the arch of the foot to engage the muscles around the foot and ankle. Good, bringing the quadriceps up and back by engaging and lifting the kneecaps, tucking the pelvis so the back is going down, the front is coming up. Stacking those shoulders right over the hips, head is over the shoulders. And we can just shrug the shoulders just a little, kind of make sure we're resetting our spine here. And maybe switch the direction, ensuring that our feet are still active, we're still lifting that arch. And once we let the shoulders come to rest, we can go ahead and lift both arms out at about shoulder height. You can turn the right palm up, keeping the left palm down, and then switch. So see if you can screw the light bulb in, and start to engage, allowing the shoulder to roll in and out as well. You could bend the elbows a little bit. And if you got some crunchies going on in there, just go to the point where it feels good. Good, coming back to the center, lifting the arms all the way up overhead, gently arching the back just a little, elongating the spine, lifting the heart. Inhale, exhale, release the hands. We're gonna slowly just crawl on down towards the feet. Flat back until we can't go any farther. Then you can round the head, neck, and shoulders into your forward fold, letting the arms maybe hang, bending one knee and then the other. Or if it feels good, interlacing the hands inside the elbows and just kind of hang out. Again, you can gently bend one knee to aid this nice little hang and twist. Toes are still active, feet are still active. Good, coming back to center, releasing the arms. And just let the head dangle a little bit side to side. Let your neck relax. It's been holding up your massive brain all day long. It needs a break. Good, inhale. Exhale, coming on up to flat back. And while you're in flat back, allow the tailbone to rotate towards the ceiling. So what we look like sometimes is we're hanging right here. I'm gonna get a little bit closer so you can see my back. So my back is kind of arched, but what I want you to try and do is flip that tailbone up and fold. So the tailbone, right here, should be kind of pointed up more towards the ceiling, not back towards the wall behind you. Just rotate up towards the ceiling. That's your flat back, okay? Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale those arms all the way up overhead, hands down to heart center. Good. from here, we'll start just like in a nice, easy little chair. So we're gonna hinge at the hips first, then bend the knees. Keeping the hands at heart center, or we can lift them out and up, kind of even with the ears. Just warming up the legs a little bit before we sit down, because we're gonna be down there for a moment. Good, inhale. Exhale, bring the arms to the side, swoop them down, back up to heart center. Maybe go up into balancing chair, so we're up on our balls of our feet on our toes. Inhale. Exhale, let the heels lower down. Good. Inhale, let's twist over one side. Looking up towards the ceiling. So rotate the rib cage. Good, inhale. Exhale, come back to the center. Inhale. Exhale, let's twist over the other direction, looking up over the other shoulder. Good, inhale. Exhale, coming back to center. Are your legs on fire? I know mine are. Good, let's inhale the arms up, straightening the legs. Whoo! Letting the hands come down. Go ahead and shake those legs out. Great job. Okay, so we're gonna move down towards the mat so we can work on those seated poses. So we're gonna inhale up. Exhale, forward fold, planting the hands by the feet, stepping the right foot and knee back, left foot and knee back, sit back to extended child's pose. Inhale and exhale. Good. After our next exhale, we're going to inhale forward to kneeling plank. Exhale, slowly lowering down. See if we can hover and hold. Good. And then release, lifting up to a baby cobra. And then push up and back. Child's pose. Good. After that next exhale, same thing. Inhale forward, exhale, lower down, hover if we can. There's got to be like just a little inch underneath, and then lift up. Good, push it on back. Woo! Right. Inhale forward. From here, we can stay right here, or if we're ready, we can put the toes down into our push-up position or plank position. You can hold it there, or if you'd like, try that lowering down, but hover and hold. Then release and lift up to cobra, then push up and back. Oh, nice. Inhale and exhale. Great job. Inhale forward into table. Just getting warmed up pretty quick. And then we'll slow down. We hit those mountains and valleys. Mountains being the harder things, and then valleys where we're just gonna slow down. Like now. Inhaling into our cat and exhaling cow. Trying to access each bone in the spine as it articulates the bike chain. Linking along one next to the other. Tying in our breath. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale through each of those movements. See if you can maybe tune out other thoughts and just focusing on the breath. Good, coming back to center into our nice neutral table, reaching our right arm out and our left leg out into spinal balance. And we can hold it there for a few breaths. Or if we're ready, maybe we can abduct both the arm and the leg out away from the midline of the body and hold that for a breath in and out, and we can put it back to the center, and then maybe crunch, bringing that elbow to knee, and then extending out, abduct, come back to the center. Okay, so you're going abduction, and crunch. Each time, resetting, making sure that you have that nice long line right down the middle. Good, maybe one more. And replacing that hand and knee down. Same thing, other side. Looking for that beautiful long line of extension first. In your isometric contraction. Then maybe abducting. You feel that a little bit on the side of the glute. And then maybe a little pump out and crunch. Always, in the future as we do these, you can choose any variation you like. Maybe you really like the abduction. Maybe you really like to hold it. Really up to you. Maybe one more breath cycle through. Good, coming back down. In this table, let's go ahead and sit on back towards the heels if it feels good. If it doesn't, you can sit any way you like. It's just hero's pose. While we're here, just rotate the wrists, relieving any tension we might have there. And perhaps we'll put one hand out in front, bend the wrist so that the fingertips are pointed down. You're just gonna pull the top of the hand towards you. Releasing the top of the arm. Inhale and exhale. Good, releasing that side. Lifting up the other one, same thing. Just gonna reach it out, pull it back towards you. Just the opposite of what we tend to do a lot on these hands. Good, inhale. And exhale, release. Coming back to hands and knees, moving into Sunbird. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift, let's say the left legs first. So the heel up towards the ceiling. The rest of the core is as stable as we can get it. All right, and then we're gonna do the same kind of crunch so that our back rounds and we're bringing our forehead or our nose towards the knee and then reversing it. So you're doing that same cat-cow type of position. Or as it comes up, you let the back arch a little. And then as the knee comes to the forehead, you make that nice other arch of the back. It's your Sunbird. Think of yourself as a beautiful bird of paradise doing its weird dance. Really cool. Good, we've had enough on that side. And bring it down. Same thing on the other. Lifting up, you're really squeezing the glute, thinking the bottom of your foot is nice and flat towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, arch and dip. Arch and dip. Really squeeze that glute as you lift the bottom of the foot towards the ceiling. Good, maybe one more. And coming back down, reaching out, extended child's pose. Or perhaps widening those knees towards the side of the mat and letting the belly and chest come down as well. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Coming forward, and inhale, bringing the knees back in. slowly hinging at the elbows as we come down, lift up, push up and back, child's pose. Good, coming forward, we're just gonna move around. Just turn this way. So we're sitting on our behinds, heels down, toes up. Hands can be placed on the sides or on the thighs. Chest is lifted, spine is neutral. We're in staff. So if we can, we want to make sure that those ankles are not just hanging out. Our feet are going to be involved too, so the toes are pulled up towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. In and out. Good, let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And just let the upper body just kind of hang out. Now it's important here that if you can't reach your toes, that doesn't matter at all. What we're looking for is the legs to stay flat towards the mat. It does us no good to hike the knees up just to touch the toes here. We want the legs to remain straight. And if you want to just grab onto the lower leg, you can. Or that's, again, the time to use your strap to pull yourself a little closer. Okay, it's more important those legs are straight because we're trying to stretch the hamstrings and the low back, and we're stretching the calves as well because those toes are pointed up towards us. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale, releasing. If you need to kind of wiggle the legs a little bit, release those hamstrings. Go for it. Bending our right knee, bringing the bottom of the foot as close as we can towards the glute. Just holding it for a moment and sitting up nice and straight. Inhale. Exhale, let that knee fall out to the side, placing the bottom of your foot towards the inside of your left thigh. Good. So now we're gonna forward fold. You could just walk the hands down, or you could do a bigger sweeping inhale, exhale, forward fold over the straight leg. This is your head to knee pose. Or many would call it the hurdler stretch without that right foot pointed in the opposite side. Inhale. And exhale, see if you can release a little bit deeper into the stretch. Inhale. Exhale, walk the hands back up. All right, we can close the door on that right leg, extending it out in front of us. Bending the left leg, bringing the foot up to the glute, allowing it to slowly come out to the side. Inhale, exhale, coming down as far as we can today. Head to knee pose. And if your head doesn't touch, again, it does not matter. Strap can help here. Grabbing the leg can help. Also trying to release and soften the stomach to enable a little bit deeper fold can help. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Slowly pressing ourselves back up. Close the door on that left side, straightening that leg out. Good. We're going to bend both knees, allowing the bottoms of the feet to come together in the middle. Turn this way, might be easier to see. All right, so into bound angle. Bound angle. You can support your legs on either side with the blocks underneath the knees, if that feels better for you, or towels or blankets. Depends on your flexibility. You can move the feet farther away or closer. Depends on your flexibility, your comfort level. Good. First, start sitting up nice and straight. And just gently noticing what's going on in the body. If you're really in pain, move the feet out a little bit farther away. Maybe support yourself with your hands by your hips. However, if you're ready to deepen that pose and you're feeling good, you can gently just place one hand down, place the other, and walk the torso down towards the feet. Till that spot where you feel challenge, but you don't feel like something's about to pop out of its sockets or your groin is on fire. Those are not good things. Just finding a point of challenge where you feel stretch but not pain. Once there, release the head and neck. And just breathe. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Slowly walk those hands back up. And using the hands to help assist, closing those legs together. Placing your hands by the hips and let both knees fall over to one side of the body, still keeping the torso elongated and elevated. Allow the stretch to come into the hip. So when we do opening things, we want to do the closing types of things too. Inhale up to center, exhale down to the other side. Beautiful. Inhale up and exhale down. Good. Continue on at your own pace, inhaling up and exhaling down. Just feeling out your own comfort. Maybe a certain side you need a little more time on. And take it. Good. All right, coming back up to center. We're gonna move into half Lord of the Fish. So we're getting back into staff pose to start. I'm gonna bend the right knee, lift the foot up, cross it over the left knee. Yeah, you could stay here hugging this in, keeping the torso upright, or you'd like to start working more into that twist. Bring that right arm up and over like a backstroke, looking over the right shoulder. Either holding onto that knee, holding onto the shoulder, or placing the outside of the elbow on the outside of the knee. Encouraging that torso to twist and the rib cage to continue to rotate. Half Lord of the Fish. Good, I'm seeing a lot of elongated torsos, so not hunched over, but nice and lifted chest, broad shoulders. Excellent. Inhale and exhale, untwist, bring it on back, pick up that foot, go ahead and straighten it out, shake it out if you need to, bending the left knee, picking it up, crossing it over on the other side. You guys know what to do. Lift the left arm up, backstroke, looking over towards that hand, looking over that shoulder, and then deciding where you want to go on your twist. Maybe this week, really notice how the rib cage is rotating over towards the left hip. Still pressing into the ground with the bottom of our left leg. So you inhale, exhaling deeper into the stretch. Inhale. And exhale, release the leg, coming back to the center, uncross, straighten that leg out. Maybe shake it out a little, and then we reset that pelvis. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up halfway, exhale down all the way. Good, inhale. Arms all the way up, hands to heart center, bringing them right down to the center of the chest. Good, from here, I'm gonna pivot And however it works for you to get yourself in that position, one heel is going to be pointed towards the corner of one of the mat. Other heel is going to be pointed in the direction of. Doesn't have to be exact. It's not geometry. All right, heels down, toes pointed up. This is your wide angled forward bend. All right, so maybe again, we're like, and the knees are here. Okay, so then move your feet in a little bit. I'd rather your legs be flat to the ground, and we work in that direction, but don't force it. Good. Once again, if you're ready for it, you can inhale up, exhale, just fold straight down, or if you need to ease into it a little bit, just walk the hands down. Just gently walk it down. Yeah. Ensuring that the feet haven't rolled forward with us. We still want the heels down and toes pointed up towards the sky. And find that spot of challenge and breathe there. Notice tightness on the inside of the thighs. Draw your attention and your breath to that area. Coerce those muscle fibers to let go of their tension. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale deeper into the stretch. Inhale and exhale. Good. Using your hands to slowly walk yourself back up and maybe bend one knee, bend the other knee. Good. From this position, hands by the hips. You're going to cross your right knee over your left knee. And this may be uncomfortable for some of you, and that's okay. Adjust yourselves as you need to. And we're going to bring both legs over to one side of the body. Good. Inhale up. Exhale down to the other side. Very similar to the one we just did, but with a little deeper stretch because you've got that top leg kind of enabling a little extra push. Just do a couple of these, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, and exhaling down. Good, inhale up, and exhale down, inhale, exhale down. Good, inhaling up, go ahead and uncross. Cross it up on the other side, and you know what to do. Just using your own breath pace, or if you're like, nope, that's the hip I need to stretch, I'm gonna hang out right there. I feel it. Should also help to loosen up the low back. And if you're feeling like, okay, this is really hard for me to do, it might be easier for you to lie all the way back and do it. So you're just lying on the floor and then moving the legs across just like this. That one's usually a little easier for me. Good, let's do one more all the way across and then come back up to center. Good, uncrossing. All right, coming down into a kneeling Tadasana, which is actually Tadasana from the knees. All right, so once here, that just means we're relatively straight up and down. I'm gonna move to give myself a little bit more room. All right, so my right leg is gonna stay fairly perpendicular to the ground. My left leg is gonna come out, and my toes are gonna point towards the short end of my mat. So instead of pointing towards you guys, it's gonna point in that direction. So I'm elongating that leg. I'm making sure that I'm not locking the knee backwards. I'm keeping the bottom of the foot pressed into the ground. I'm gonna use my left hand just towards the outside of that knee without pressing on the knee. Again, I don't wanna hyperextend. Zippering the right arm up, and then just leaning over the side. Again, not pushing on the knee. So if I lifted this arm up, it's really my core that's holding me up, my leg that's pressing down into the ground. I'm not holding my whole weight up on my straightened knee. That would be a no-no. We don't like that. Good. Inhale and exhale, come on up. bringing that knee in, switching out to the other side, moving over if you need to, straightening the leg. Good. Support, zipper it up, and lean. This is gate pose. So if we're in triangle and triangle is not doing it for you and you're like, nah, I can't forward fold like that, or I have a headache and I just can't go down that far, this would be an alternative. Gate pose. And really elongating from the knee that's pushing into the ground all the way up through those fingers. How long can you make that line? Good. Inhale and exhale, coming on out. All right. Sitting back on down on the back side. Starting with both legs back out into staff pose again. We're gonna cross the right foot and knee over. So it's touching the ground, crossing the left leg under. So far, so good. Reaching the right arm up in the straight down behind, reaching down as far as you can without the head bobbing forward. So we want a nice neutral spine. We're not moving the head just to reach. Then taking the left hand, swooping it behind. And if you can grab hands, great. Maybe you touch the fingertips, or maybe you just point in that direction. Cow's face. I don't quite see it, but maybe this is the horns, the feet of the horns. I don't know. Your interpretation. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, gently releasing the hands, allowing them to come back out. We're gonna uncross the right foot, straighten it out, and then the left back into your staff pose. Good. Tadasana. Crossing the left foot and knee over, the thigh over, and then the right. And just the same thing. Reaching the left arm up, reaching down as far as down the spine as we can, swooping the right arm back behind. Maybe grabbing hands, maybe just pointing our fingertips towards one another. And then once again, keeping the neck as neutral as we can. There, beautiful. Inhale and exhale. And one side you might reach, and the other side you might not. We all have imbalances. So most of us are right-handed, so bodies develop differently on one side. Inhale and exhale, releasing the hands. And then maybe shaking it out, uncrossing one leg, and then the other, maybe shaking that out a little bit too. Okay, so here's the time we can practice our scale pose just for a moment before we go into crow or crane. So if you've got blocks and you would like to use them, you can grab those. Once again, getting into your lotus, half lotus, baby lotus, crisscross applesauce, whatever you like to call it. Now, as I said before, the blocks do help because they give you a little extra room. Without them, it's a little bit more core work that has to engage earlier. So the blocks do help. So if you have books, that works too. Okay, so remember your scale is lifting up off the ground. Now, for those of you like, it's not for me, place the hands down and simply rock forward so that you're lifting the hips off the ground for 2 seconds. 1, 2, and then lower back down. 1, 2, lower back down. Okay, that's how you get there. And then maybe, the next time it's 1, 2, 3, because you're increasing the endurance, right? Lifting up and lowering. And then if you want to try, you can just place those hands down, maybe just lift for a second, pressing the shoulders down, shoulder blades down, and lift. Not an easy pose. Good. trying a little more, or just practicing the rock up and come back down. Up. So if you think about it, anytime you get up off the floor, this is exactly what you're doing, right? Even if you're in a crisscross, right? We stand up. The only thing we're just not doing is pressing the feet back down to the ground. Okay. All right, if you had enough of scale and rocking and rolling, try crow. So if you already know how to arm balance in crow or crane, and you'd rather do crane, feel free. I am not a crane person, I'm definitely a crow person. So the difference between crow and crane is that crane is with straight arms, okay? So if you think about a crane, it's got the really long legs, and that's where the knees are basically almost to the armpits, and we're here, and the feet come off the ground. That one doesn't work for my body. So crow, if you'd like to practice, you're gonna be up onto the toes, placing the hands down, and you're gonna shift the weight, just like we did in scale. You're gonna shift the weight towards the hands, and then come back. You wanna get used to this and not do a somersault if you can help it. All right, so I'm gonna go up on my toes. I'm gonna start pressing the inside of my knee kind of against the back of my upper arm, just above my elbow. Okay? So this is kind of just step one. As you get more comfortable, you start putting more weight on the hands. You can lift one foot up and then come back down, reset, lift the other foot up, come back down. If you're ready to try, you're gonna place those hands. You're gonna push kind of back and out against the inside of the knee while the knee pushes into the arm. So you're hugging them together. Okay, so as we do that, lift and lift the other foot as we balance into crow. And then we come back down. Right? So one thing to emphasize for this one is to make sure that your elbows are bent enough before you get in there. So if the arms are all the way up, that's actually much harder because you're farther away from, it's harder to balance, right? Just so the more the elbows are bent as we're getting up into our crow, it's the more stable. They're like our knees that help stabilize us. Okay, so it's gonna be the inside of the knee right at just above the elbow. So if we've got them a little more bent and closer, so if your feet maybe are closer to your hands, and you're just gently shifting the weight. If they're all the way back here, and then we're jumping forward, we have more of that front to back movement. Okay, so get closer to where your hands are with your feet first. Okay, so there's not much space. For me, it's about 6 inches. And then I just shift from the foot to the hand, slowly lifting one foot and then the other. So if you've had enough, go ahead and sit on back, kind of release the wrists a little bit. All right, so arm balancing poses are definitely a challenge, but it's something we can all work towards. And it's just really getting to know where the weight of the body is. And it's not, oh, I weigh too much or I'm too weak. It's kind of, we're building that strength together at the same time we're learning balance, which is a totally different thing that most of us aren't challenged with on a regular basis. So it takes some time. But I recommend between now and the next time to work on getting in that position, making sure that the elbows are tucked in enough. If they're out here, it's gonna be way harder because then you're using more of the chest spread out and the anterior deltoids. We're keeping tucked in. And this is also a reminder for that when we do our full sun salutation, where we come down into plank and we lower down on that push-up, our hands are actually really tucked in. They're not out here, right? They're really tucked in. So when you're going to do this crow, same thing, my hands are basically directly in front of where my shoulders are. Okay, they're right in front of the shoulders. So that if I was facing you with it right now, this is what it looks like. It's really tight. So if you're a little bit farther out, it's gonna be harder because now you're using the inside of the chest to have to squeeze in at the same time. Whew, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get on back. Extended child's pose. That was a lot. You guys are doing great. Getting into the fun stuff. Good. Inhale and exhale. Whew. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale. Let's come back forward, flipping on around. If you have some space where you're not going to hit a wall like me, that would be better. So you're going to lay on your side, just kind of in the comfortable fetal position, cradling the head. And you're going to take that top arm, like for me it's my left, and I'm going to lift it up. So it's at about 12 o'clock. So I'm going to inhale all the way up to 12. I'm going to exhale down to 6 o'clock. So inhale up from 6 to 12, and exhale down. Good. Inhale up and exhale down. Becoming in tune with our breath. And you're trying to find the full range. So you're making the biggest circle you possibly can. Woo. Good. And as we lift that arm back and we're opening the chest, maybe we feel a kind of tight spot, like your arm is back kind of behind you. Leave it there for a moment and just breathe. And every time you exhale, imagine the back of your hand sinking closer to the floor each time. So inhale and then exhale. Allow it to sink deeper. Inhale. Exhale, sinking deeper. Inhale. And exhale, sinking deeper. And you may notice, if you're really conscious of letting the muscle fibers relax, your arm may end up much closer to the floor than it was when you first started. Good. Inhale. And exhale, bringing it back up, switching the direction of your circle, just to kind of reset. You're swimming. Good. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down and relax. If you'd like, you can just roll on over. You need to flip over so I can see you. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Getting into that comfortable position where you're supported. And then start your big circles, taking your time all the way around. Still going to inhale up the entire distance of that movement and exhale the entire other half of that circle. And whatever direction you decide to go, doesn't matter. We're going to do both sides. And perhaps one more big circle all the way around until you find that tight spot on that shoulder as it's open. And then just let it hang out. Let gravity do its thing. And then your job is to just breathe and relax. With each exhalation, we allow the back of the hand to slowly sink deeper towards the earth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then resuming in the opposite direction. Those big arm circles. Just resetting that shoulder. Hopefully the chest is feeling opened, and relaxed, and loosened. Still inhaling up and exhaling through that whole circle. Good. One more big breath and circle. Good. Coming back to rest. Inhale. And then exhale, rolling on over to the back as we end in Shavasana. Adjusting any body part that we need to feel comfortable. Making sure that the spine is neutral. Perhaps rolling the legs in and out, and then when they fall out, just letting them go. Adjust the shoulder blades, they hug the back of the rib cage. The arms to lift up, move away from the body. And then release any tension in the back of the head. Closing the eyes. If you have a small towel that you want to place over the eyes or an article of clothing that's laying around or a furry animal to put on your head, feel free. We just allow the body to relax. You've done the work. You've engaged the muscles. You've tuned into the breath. And now is simply the time to be. Noticing a softness in the body, the ease in the breath, the relaxation of the muscles between the eyes, the forehead, the cheeks, and around the mouth. Relax. And every time we inhale, we draw in good cleansing energy. And with every exhale, release tension and anxiety or worry. Inhale and exhale. Allow the body to soften after each inhalation. As we let any tension go, the body softens into the earth where we are connected to everyone. Keeping the eyes softened and closed. Gently touch the tip of your index finger to your thumb, noticing the feeling of the little ridges of your fingerprints. And touching the middle finger, the ring finger, and the pinky. Slowly rotating the wrists and ankles. Allow the legs to roll in and out. Gently moving the head side to side. As our body becomes more aware of our surroundings, the feeling of our body on our mat, very slowly roll over onto the side, protecting the head and neck with the arm. Noticing this feeling of wholeness, of ease and relaxation. Grasping onto it. Once we have hold of it, let's slowly press ourselves up. We bring our attention entirely back to the room and open our eyes. Inhaling the arms up, scooping that good energy in, exhaling down. Inhale and exhale. Once more, inhaling all that good energy up, scooping it in for yourselves. I wish you a wonderful rest of your week, everyone. Thank you for being here. Namaste.